No black cats, just straight facts.
Triple P certified.
Listen, we can talk about odds all day. It doesn't matter what the odds are. It matters what's gonna happen. Welcome to the Perfect Play Pursuit Live. We are here to break down UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev. Everybody in the 313. UFC 313. So I'm coming off a winning weekend. I know you're looking at my total and you're like, Luke, it looks like you lost money this weekend. No. I just miscalculated last week. So the number that I displayed last week and the number that it was inaccurate. I recalibrated. I did win money this weekend. Could have won a lot more if we'll talk about it on the show, but delightful card. Really enjoyed it. I had a new baby, as most of you know. I have a 2-week-old son. And to be honest, guys, I'm juggling a 3-year-old and a 2-week-old. And I watched 2 fights without having a baby on my chest or a 3-year-old on my chest. Or, the first fight of the night's on. My daughter comes down. She goes, Daddy, I want to watch The Grinch. I'm like, it's fucking we've watched The Grinch 100 times. We'll watch The Grinch. So I put that on the big TV. I'm like watching the fights like a peasant on my laptop. It's what you do for the children. You know what I mean? I'm a good dad at the end of the day. So, it was chaotic. I was still very accommodating to the open bet sheet. I still put in all my bets as I played. And I had a lot of good picks, a lot of good plays. We'll talk about it. But how was your watching experience, Dan? Alex, what'd you guys do?
I was really jonesing for a win. I changed up my strategy. I was looking for the responsible way to go, kind of akin to what you guys do. $130 all in, right? 30 to the side. The main play was the 100. Do it on 3. Should be easy wins. You got your Danny Barlow, you got your Chepe Mariscal, and you got your Danny Silva. So, of course, the first 2 hit. I'm thinking, I'm going to come out of this with a nice, even $100 win, all right? $100 profit. And, of course, Sam Patterson screws the pooch. Now, even more responsible with the other 30, I did a if Sam Patterson wins type deal. And then who screwed me over? My boy Esteban Ribovic. So, the guy just can't catch a break here. I'm trying to be responsible. I'm trying to not shoot for millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm just shooting for a little $100 win, but your boy can't even get that. It's a Greek tragedy over here. Alex, how was your viewing experience? Doesn't look like you made out all that much better than me.
I had a very great viewing experience. Didn't watch a single fight. Just snowboarded down the mountain, killed it, ripped some fresh pow. I didn't watch a single fight. I think I actually did catch a little bit of the cop dilemma, the cop situation. I'm sure we'll get into that, but that is the only fight I was able to tune into. Oh, and the co-main event too. I saw Cody Brundage versus the Missile Crisis, but barely watching, spending time with family, friends, gallivanting, watching or not watching the fights, snowboarding, having some wine, listening to classical music. I was too busy then to watch this terrible, terrible sport where men can come in on steroids, cheat, and win. But Luke, I'll go back to you. What happened with your night?
So my night. All right. Let's see if I can share the open bet sheet here. Okay. So we made our parlays, right? We made our parlays, and I had a good amount out. So you'll see here are my losers down here, right? I lost. So I would have won really big if Patterson didn't get the knockout, but instead got the sub. So I had 35 for 33.97. Timarov, Silva, Patterson by sub, Emil by KO or decision, and Brundage. Okay, so that was 35 for 3.3 thousand, right? And that was the only one that fell through. I picked Patterson on the show. I was confident that he would get the win for some odd reason. But I never saw the knockout coming, I'll be honest with you. I would have also had this one still rolling, which would have been 50 for 5,400. Temerov, Patterson by sub, Brundage, and then next weekend, Rufy, Fazeev, and Lopes later. So that would have been a longer play multi-event, but would have been able to like hedge out on all of the, Bobby Green could have hedged out on him, could have hedged out on Justin Gaethje, underdog, could have hedged out on Volkanovski, could have insured a lot of money. And then, I also thought if there's two underdogs that I was like looking at, it was Ramos and Patterson, and Ramos was in a lot of these too. That would have been good. This one had some people that fell through that didn't show up to the fight, like Castaneda and whatnot. But overall, I had this one that I kind of did is like Johnson, Aldrich Silva. That was kind of like my perfect parlay, I guess. But yeah, so that was those were my losers. So you can see I was kind of throwing a little bit of wood there, 50, 100, 50, 100, those lost. So I was kind of in the hole a little bit, but I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to start the night with $30 and I'm going to just see every fight. I'm going to see what I feel when they're walking into the cage. We'll play that a little bit. So I did 30 on Temirov to win 61.80. Took the 61.80, put it on Aldrich by decision for 113. Took 113 that I won off Aldrich, put it on Silva. Now, Silva, he's a joke, dude. Like, this guy, all of the beckoning on, all of the, tough guy stuff, all the fainting, this, that, not enough action, not enough activity. He's a bum. I'm fading him. I'm never taking him at chalk odds again. I was not confident he even won the fight. Then I put, so I turned 113 into 157 there. Took 145 off the 157, put it on Pinto by knockout. Got that. Now I'm up to 245.
Saving that $12 for a rainy day?
Well, no, it wasn't $12. It was, $12. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Well, no, it's because his money line for KO is 145, minus 145. So I was like, we'll try to get 100 here. So then I put of the 245 that I was up, I put 57.73 on Patterson, won 173 there. By this point, I had good amount of, 173 plus, I had like 350 bucks, something like that, right? So then I put 223 on Gomez by points to win 457.
Ooh. That
falls through. That's where my little streak here ended. But a nice little.
I heard it was a robbery too.
Yeah, some say, I don't know. But what I had, so when that decision happened, my wife looks at me, she goes, "Good?" I'm like, and I went like, yes. I was kind of like, and I said nothing. I just was like, because
no, not good. I lost.
Well, but I had a meal in this parlay. I had Silva, Emil, Hapcross, and Brundage, 35 for 800. But my problem was that once Emil won and Patterson won, I was like, what are the odds Hapcross is going to win now? I mean, 2 underdogs in a row, just won. Like, is a third underdog in a row going to win? And then technically Brundage opened as an underdog. So I'm like, it's kind of like, I wasn't very confident, but I let it ride. Hapcross came out first round, did really well. But again, much like the Emil fight, much like the Gomez fight, much like the Silva fight, it was not like a fight that you were like, he definitely won that. You know what I mean? So Hapcross gets the win. Now I got Brundage. Man, never again can I fucking trust him. I mean, he gets his mouthpiece knocked out. He's almost knocked out. I hate Mark Smith, but thank God for Mark Smith. He interrupted that action. He got the mouthpieces back in, and then Brundage knocks him out. So, I won $800 there. For the night, that put me up 235, and then I threw 184 cents on cap by decision, just because I thought Ankalaev, I figured he will withstand first 2 rounds onslaught, and then Cop will, they're 125ers. I'm like, he might not carry that power, or at least just be in a position where he's kind of like, I was like, maybe Ankalaev will like even win the 3rd round, or like keep it close, or kind of figure it out, change styles a bit. I don't know. I was just thinking Cop's going to maybe win by decision. So took that 2-1 odds, that lost, but no worries. I still came out with $135 profit for the night. Plus winning back everything I lost, which obviously was pretty substantial because you see, I won 800 and, I was going to be down like $500 if this didn't hit, and then gave me a little wiggle room to make the main event more interesting. But overall, that was my night. I love Manel Cop. I don't give a fuck if he cheats. What's up, JG in the chat? Thank you. Appreciate your comment. You guys, we're going live here. The new videos, when they're uploaded, they're going to be in the live section of the YouTube. Might be a little bit of an adjustment for some folks. They're not in the main area anymore. So going to figure that out. Maybe I should just do a re-upload after we go live. We'll go live, and then we'll re-upload so the video kind of premieres in the same spot. We'll see. But overall, decent night. Could have been a lot better. Could have been a lot worse. But anytime you get out, what I realized was I was like, damn, like I had just gotten paid all my bills first and foremost, paid my wife, got all the money out. And then I have like a little bit of a budget to gamble with. And I realized I bet way too much because I don't get paid for 2 more weeks. And I'm like, now if I lose tonight, I hardly have anything to bet in next week's card, which I'm way more confident in my picks. I was like, I didn't know my ass from my elbow in this card. But I really think it says something that like the parlay that hit was there was not one of those 4 picks that like made it easy. Between Silva, Hyder Emil, Hopcross, Brundage, not one of them made it easy. Somebody in the Discord said, that's a winning parlay, though. It should make you uncomfortable. It should not really be – it's never that straightforward. And I do agree with that. I mean, I think that you got to – this isn't Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. When you poll the audience, it's not 85% the audience is right all the time. It's like the audience generally – this is gambling. Like, people get sucked in. People want to feel safe about their picks, so they inflate these favorites. And then, guys, if you could win money betting on every fucking favorite – Vegas wouldn't exist, right? So it's like some of these underdogs come in. There's always these parlay shitters, and you do. Part of me is like, pick who you think is going to win no matter what because of these outcomes, right? I mean, you had all these underdogs: Patterson, Emil, Hopcross, Brundage, and then part of me is like, but also use the line to guide you. So it's a catch-22. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But
real
crazy.
Sophie's choice.
Yeah. It's a crazy game of poker when you're betting on guys fighting in their boxing shorts. I think that does it for this card. I mean, there's not really too much to touch on. I said what I need to say. I think Silva's a bum. Aldridge by decision, fucking easiest thing you've ever done. Even that fight, though, was pretty goddamn close. Like, Ricardo Ramos, I thought he fought well. I'm not going to really, thought he should have been more dogged with that takedown attempt, more insistent upon that. He was kind of willing to strike a little bit too much, but entertaining fight. Pinto got cracked, almost got knocked out himself, but ended up getting the knockout. Sam Patterson, what a G. Like, what a fucking beast to fucking put the hands on Barlow like that. Really can't say anything much else. I don't care about the Manel Cop eye poke. I don't care about that. I don't give a fuck. I think I like that Cop does shit like that. There's not much else to say. He beat the fuck out of Ankalaev. Ankalaev was not in that fight for a second. I'll say it right now. I think Cop beats Pantoja. I think Cop beats Merab. I think Cop beats Volkanovski. I really do. I mean, what are these guys going to do? Are they going to take him down? Not one of them is going to take him down. I mean, Merab might get him down, but he's going to get back up. And Cop ain't fucking like these other guys. I mean, like, O'Malley is like it takes everything to be perfect for him to really like get his flow going with his strikes. Cop just goes forward and fucking throws. Like,
dude, Ankalaev beat him by decision. Do you remember this?
First of all, he broke his
worst fight of all time.
He broke his toe in that fight. Ankalaev is an amazing.
Oh, come on. Now we're
undefeated.
Broke a toe.
So you're gonna forget that Ankalaev almost got his knee snapped in half, didn't tap, and then went on to choke the guy out. I mean, that was a fucking made man moment.
Great grapplers don't almost get their knee broken and not tap out. They just don't get in those positions. He probably had irreparable knee damage after that.
What's that got to do with Cop?
Still, that was a close fight.
We haven't excused guys like breaking their arms on this podcast. He had a broken toe, and because of that, he threw like 5 strikes over the course of 15 minutes.
Merab couldn't dominate an old Aldo. All he could do was wall install. He didn't get Aldo down one time.
No one can take Aldo down.
Merab got shinned by Henry Cejudo, who's basically Manel Cop's fucking size. So I really think Manel Cop beats Merab. I'll say it, and I am right about that. Not only beats him, he knocks him out. So Manel Cop's got the cardio, he's got the takedown defense, and he damn sure has the striking. So I just want to see. I think sky's the limit for him. I love him. I want to see him get the title. I want to see him just make this division entertaining again. I love everything he says. I think he's great. So yeah, not much else to talk about. Let's just get into UFC 1313. We'll start at the bottom. We'll warm up here, baby. John Castaneda rebooked against the opponent who was originally going to be, I think, who was Gutierrez? He was originally going to fight Rob Font's opponent, I think, right?
Matsumoto.
Yeah. So Gutierrez was originally going to fight on the against whatever his name is, John Masamuto, yeah. And Castaneda was originally going to fight this weekend against De Silva de Andrade. So now we got these two against each other. 135-pound fight. Castaneda versus Gutierrez. I feel like Gutierrez is a lot older than 33 years old. Don't you think? Maybe just because it's a low weight class that is kind of old for 135.
Yeah.
But
Could be.
they're both 33. Gutierrez, lately a win one, lose one kind of guy. Destroyed Frankie Edgar. Loses to Pedro Munoz. Beats Alia Tang. Loses to Yadong Song. Beats Quang Li. So they got this guy fighting basically UFC China 3 fights in a row. And Castaneda loses to Daniel Marcos, undefeated, really good fighter. Beats Kung Ho Kang, beats Muin Gaffarov, loses to Daniel Santos, and gets Miles Johns out of there 3 years ago. Only put up 5 fights in 3 years, hasn't fought in 8 months. This is an interesting one. Part of me says, I like what I see out of Factory X Muay Thai. I like what I see from Mark Montoya. I give a slight nod to Gutierrez. Better strength of schedule, better activity. But what do you guys think?
I think this is Chris Gutierrez all day. He's on a surging team. He's been preparing for this weekend for a while. I believe Matsumoto got I guess it would have had to have at least been 2 weeks that he's known that he had to extend his training camp. That could mean one of two things. He could be coming up in here more banged up than usual because he's extended his training camp for at least 2 more weeks and then had like an off week in between. So he kind of had to like ramp up a little bit because he still had 2 weeks to prepare for this fight. I'm going with Chris Gutierrez. I think Chris Gutierrez is a nightmare matchup for John Castaneda. John Castaneda lost to Daniel Marcos, who has a pretty similar fight style. I think that yields well for Chris Gutierrez. John Castaneda didn't have an answer for Daniel Marcos. And those rangy kicks, rangy punches straight down the pipe. I think that's where Chris Gutierrez is king. And if you know anything about these Factory X fighters, if he gets an early lead, he's just going to be sprinting around the octagon for the rest of the third round. So they're smart. They know what they're doing. They're very tactical. Got to go with Chris Gutierrez in this one.
I disagree. I don't think the right comp is Daniel Marcos to Chris Gutierrez, just because Gutierrez there was a ton of kicks. I don't think Daniel Marcos, if I'm thinking of the correct guy, the Peruvian guy, he doesn't throw any kicks at all. I think the better comp here would be John Castaneda to Pedro Munoz. Short little guy with a lot of forward pressure. I think Castaneda is even cleaner than Munoz at this point in his career. So I just think that this is a good matchup as far as past competition for Castaneda. As we alluded to, Gutierrez at 33 years old at bantamweight, not the best age, although how old is Castaneda? I believe he's younger, but same
also
age.
33. 8 months
Also
younger.
33. 8 months younger. I'll take any advantage I can get. Let's go with Sexy Mexi, John Castaneda.
Yeah, I've heard both of you. I agree with a lot of things both of you said. It's a toss-up for me. I don't see a line yet, but I think I'll probably side with I picked Castaneda in his last. I'm gonna go with Gutierrez tentatively for now. Kind of a no-bet fight. Want to save my bullets for other fights I'm more confident in, but I'll go with Gutierrez for now. We'll see what the line kind of pans out to be. All right, next we got Ozzy Diaz versus Georgian Santos. Ozzy Diaz, super disappointing 3 months ago in UFC Macau. Lost to Ming Yang Zhang. Got knocked the fuck out. He was a huge underdog in that fight. I took a free bet on him, lost it. He's going to be 7 years older than DeGeorge and Santos. Santos entering, this is his debut. 5 months ago, he won on the Contender Series. I'm kind of low on Kings MMA. I mean, who's their best fighter? Kelvin fucking Gastelum, Mike Tyson. I mean, who's their best fighter? Don't like the 7-year age gap for Ozzy Diaz. This is a fight where it's like, is Ozzy Diaz just a complete fucking bum? I didn't see anything that impressed me that much against Mengying Zhang. So I think I'll side with DeGeorge and Cash Santos. He's just, they both fought 3 to 5 months ago, and one of them got knocked the fuck out 3 months ago. So it's like, okay, 3 months ago you got knocked out. How much time did you take off the rest of your brain before even training again, right? I feel like you need to be training for at least 3 months to go fight in the UFC again. So for me, it's Santos. Also, this fight, I believe, is at, 185?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Ozzy Diaz's last fight was at 205. So now you're talking, a 20-pound weight cut after getting knocked out 3 months ago. Yeah, I don't see good things happening for Diaz in this one. And I think anything sub minus 200 is kind of generous. Anytime you're taking a guy against a guy who just got knocked out, like, I don't think 3 months is enough time to get back, to get back, to be recovered or to be training. And if he was training hard, how much damage does he take him in those 3 months training? So I'm going to go Santos here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Santos as well. I just picture Ozzy Diaz like curled up like this in the corner of the cage and just getting punches rained down upon him. Got to go with Santos in this one. Didn't love what I saw from Diaz in his last bout. Looking forward to this, but Diaz has a weird record. Like, he fought Dominic Reyes as an amateur, so he has some high level experience in there. But I mean, how high level was Dominic Reyes in the amateurs? Give me Santos here.
I'm not crazy about this. The line indicates Santos, but if you look at his resume, he's fought a bunch of cans, and it looks like all the guys that have halfway decent records, he had a loss and also like split decisions, and I don't know. I'll have to look at the tape a little bit more. We got Diaz coming in off 2 straight losses, but pretty formidable opponents in Joe Pyfer and Mengying Zhang, who I know that we're all pretty excited about. So something tells me that Ozzy Diaz might be due, and it'll be a nice little dog shot. To me, it's dog or pass. I'll go with Diaz. I think the Brazilians are going to be upset a lot on this card, or at least a couple times.
Yeah. All right. I hear you. So you're going
see
out
my
to
logic seeping in. The logic is making sense for Lucas. See it.
No, not really.
I think it's going to be a Brazilian wave. So,
all right. Next, we got Frankie Marshall versus Marian Santos. Marian Santos just knocked out Khan Awfully 6 months ago. Before that, was in the LFA. Got knocked out by Dan Argueta, if you remember that name, from The Ultimate Fighter, I believe. I actually know I'm at 1 degree of separation from Frankie Marshall. He trains at Kurt Pellegrino's gym in New Jersey. I got a friend, a family relative, actually, at this point, relative who trains there, is a black belt there, and they love Frankie Marshall. I tell them all the time, I say, we love Frankie Marshall. We've always picked him, bet on him, talked highly of him. He lost to William Gomez, split decision. Really no shame there. We have a lot of respect for William Gomez. Got knocked out by, ground and pounded by Isaac Dolgarian. Again, the Midwest Choppa. It happens. Split decision against Dennis Bajukia. And 1 knockout win against Marcelo Rojo. Made his debut off the Contender Series after, with a decision win against Connor Matthews. Came into the UFC undefeated. Now has 2 losses, 1 by split decision, but 1 by knockout. was a year and 6 months ago. He took a year off after that knockout. Got back in, won a fight. This fight reminds me of the guy who fought Tajirul and Bekov most recently. Or was it Said Nurmagomedov? Fought really well, but young kid, but ultimately lost the fight. You got Santos coming out of Extreme Couture. Is a really tricky one because I don't want to take Santos at minus 375. He's got a really glorious record, but I'm kind of thinking I go with Frankie Marshall here. Plus 390 underdog. Not saying it's going to be in every single parlay I put out, but maybe a little solo shot, early in the night, try to get some gunpowder for the rest of the card. Might be worth it for Frankie coming off a win. I'm going to go with Frankie Marshall here.
I'm also going Frankie Marshall. I said it was going to be a Brazilian wave, but not in this one. One American boy has to bring it home, and it's going to be Frankie the Fire Marshall. Santos has struggled with grapplers in some of his past bouts, although he's relatively unblemished. If I remember correctly from that season, that terrible season of The Ultimate Fighter, grappling was a bit of his kryptonite, although he did really well on The Ultimate Fighter. And I think Frankie Marshall will be able to bring it to him. And I think his striking's competent enough to stay alive up top and not be too panicked in the grappling, but make it happen and maybe even get this done by submission. But I'd play it safe and go decision.
And, if you're going to talk about guys with canned records, Dan, I mean, this guy, the only time he fights anybody that doesn't have a extreme losing record, he goes to either a split decision or a decision with them. Really hasn't fought anybody of note and gets knocked out by Dan Argueta. Gets barely through the Ultimate Fighter in terms of split decision, unanimous decision. Con Awfully wasn't on the Ultimate Fighter. You don't always. The Ultimate Fighter is not the Contender Series. You don't get the best talent on the Ultimate Fighter because it's a grueling process to do the Ultimate Fighter. And if you're good enough to get into the UFC without doing it, you're not going to do it. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think I'm getting more and more confident with the Frankie Marshall pick, especially seeing as he's dropping down from 155 to 145. It's going to be bigger in there. If you can get this guy to the ground, I think poses a lot of problems. And Frankie, I remember from his other fights, I feel like he's a pretty cerebral fighter. He's smart but aggressive. Doesn't put himself in bad position. So I like Frankie at the underdog odds. Yeah.
All right. Well, don't step on all my points. I'm also going to triple P certify Frankie Marshall here. Didn't know about him going down in weight. I think that could be a really, really resounding positive net effect for him. Kind of seems to be a pretty comfortable jump for our 155 down to 145 for a lot of these guys. I think that could work out really well. The big thing for me, I also did a resume review, and getting knocked out by Dan Argueta. I mean, I think he's a good enough fighter, but I don't think people should be getting knocked out by him. And, Frankie Marshall, he has a lot of wrestling background coming out of Jersey and, your guys' neck of the woods. Pellegrino, I don't really drink sparkling water, but maybe it's a good MMA camp. I don't know. So Frankie Marshall is going to be the pick, and we're going to triple P certified for you folks. What? Plus 275 dog. Who else is doing that in the UFC gambling sphere? Not many. Plus, it's crazy. It's crazy. Plus 275. Insane.
My Japanese friend, I'm right there with you. I don't know. All right, cool. So Triple B certified Frankie the Fire Marshall. Next we got Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. For me, you look at Alex Morono's last 5 fights. He beat Tim Means, lost to Joaquin Buckley, beat Court McGee by decision, lost to Nico Price by decision, and lost to Danny Rodriguez by split decision. You take out Joaquin Buckley, what do all 4 of those guys have in common? Old, washed, not very good. He's 34 years old, 4 years older than his opponent. His opponent is coming off that loss to Hanat Fakhretdinov. We all know that was a robbery. He beat Hanat Fakhretdinov. That fight was in The Middle East, they gave it to Hanat. That was a judge's robbery. He's coming in here, steam coming out of his ears, mad. He's gonna fight hard. He looked great against Hanat. I'm going Carlos Leal. I just don't like the line minus 600. Got to kind of find your spot here. I think he could knock out Morono. Morono fights very unorthodox style. He's got those monkey bar, handlebar, motorcycle, hands that he keeps up real high. Throws rocks on ropes. I think Leal could probably slip a couple of those, hit him with an uppercut, hit him with a cross, just knock him the fuck out. So I think I'll look at the line. I'll see, Leal by knockout. Morono's going to a lot of decisions. So I think people will probably, I think it'll be like Leal by decision, minus 120, Leal by KO, plus 185, maybe something. I don't know. I can't, maybe it's not that much, but it'll probably be plus odds for Leal by knockout. If I'm going to play it, that's how I'll play it. But overall, I think Leal is the winner here. Minus 600, can't really bet it.
I was gonna go with the sexy dog, but as you got me thinking, I'm gonna go with Leal because I do remember that Renat Fakhretdinov fight now, and I remember thinking I got robbed because I bet on Leal and Leal was an underdog in that one. Was very disappointed with that decision. I think you're right, Leal all the way.
Carrie Jane in the chat, one of my favorite subscribers. How are you, Carrie? I believe you're up in Canada. Great to hear from you.
Don't dox anybody.
Canada is vast, as Hank Hill once said.
I'm gonna go with Leal as well. Not going too crazy with this one. I remember being back at home for a family event, driving with my mom. I was in a great position. I think I was the only one that was on Leal. You guys were all on Fakhretdinov's nuts at that time. I was like, you know what? I looked at the tape. I did my homework. I like this Leal guy, big dog. I'm watching on my phone as we're like driving around, doing what we got to do, picking up like a cake or something. And of course, he does not get the nod from the judges, and I'm spazzing out. My mom's like, what? I'm like, nothing. But this coming Saturday night, he's going to get it done. He's going to juice up my parlay by an extra 50 cents with that minus 700 price tag. But whatever, redemption is coming. Let's go with Carlos Leal as the Triple P certified pick 2 in a row.
I was watching the fight with Alex, and we were watching the first round and a half, 2 rounds, and we're like, yeah, Leal's got this in the bag. Not going to lose. Let's go get some beer real quick before the next fight starts. Pop out of his apartment, come back, and I checked my parlays. I had to not in that fight, and I was like, what the fuck? All right. I guess he didn't win one of those 2 rounds. I know he lost or whatever. All right, cool. Triple P certified Carlos Leal. Next, we got Bruno Pereira versus Armen Petrosyan. Bruno Pereira, the Hulk versus Superman. The Hulk versus Superman. We got a regular Marvel versus DC here. 34 years old, Armen Petrosyan coming off that knockout loss from Shara Magomedov 4 months ago. Before that, got choked out by Rodolfo Vieira. Before that, had a really great showing against CLD. Christian Leroy Duncan took his O. And before that, beat AJ Dobson and lost a decision to Caio Barallo before that. Ferreira, we all remember, knocked out Gregory Rodriguez. I believe we were all in the Poconos for that. That was a really great night. And Nursultan Ruzabov knocked him out after that. Then he knocks out Phil Halls, knocks out Dustin Stolfitz. And then when he knocked out Dustin Stolfitz, he caused extreme nerve damage. He hit him with that elbow. That spinning elbow,
Mm-hmm.
He fucked Dustin up for a while. Dustin came back triumphantly and beat Abbas Magomedov, I believe. And then this guy here, even though he knocked out Dustin, who beat, did he beat Magomedov? I forget if that was the fight that he got that big upset on.
Marc-Andre Barriault.
Barriault, that's what it was. It was Barriault. Yeah, he fucked up Barriault, knocked him the fuck out. Abbas Magomedov, though, did choke out Bruno Pereira, and Bruno almost beat Abbas, man. I had him as a big dog in that fight on a couple parlays. He had him wobbled, had him hurt. I ended up getting choked out in the third. That was 4 months ago. So, I kind of like a guy who got choked out 4 months ago versus a guy who got knocked out 4 months ago. I feel like at the line, especially, plus money on Pereira. I'm going with Pereira. Look, I didn't take him against RoboCop. I think I did take him in the next fight that he got knocked out. And then I definitely took him against Phil Halls. I definitely took him against Stolfitz, I think. But I definitely took him against Magomedov. I'm not going to go back and forth. I have faith in this guy. The only thing is he looked like a lot. I remember when he fought Abbas, I was like, Bruno Pereira is not the Hulk anymore. Like, he looked deflated. He looked out of shape. He looked like he was on a cycle and came off of it once he got in the UFC. You know what I mean? And that happens a lot when you step in the UFC on short notice. You get these guys who are not in the testing pool. I'm just saying he did not look like the Hulk. So I really want to see the weigh-ins for this. I'll be honest, I already have Pereira in a few parlays. I already have him in some bets that I already placed. But I think he can touch up Petrosian and possibly get the knockout. I'm going with Pereira.
Yeah, I'm going with Pereira as well. Not too impressed with Arman Petrosian. I was when he first came in the UFC, thought he was very dynamic, but I just think Bruno Pereira is going to have a little bit more ferocity in there and be able to get through the distance and put Arman Petrosian away.
Yeah, I'm going to have to break up this potential Triple P certification here. Go with the Arman Sarukian. I just think that the technical striking, the distance management, the education of the striker is what's going to win the day here. Bruno Pereira, he can't just keep knocking out guys left and right. And like Luke said, even in some of these fights where he gets the win, 95% of the fight, he looks sloppy, doesn't look all that great. I'll go with a 300 hitter over a 200 hitter who hits 30 home runs. So give me Petrosian. Is it one of my more confident plays? Yes, it is. I think this is, dare I say, a parlay pillar.
Well, I think you should take him by decision then. That'll get you some juice.
Yeah.
So I don't see him knocking Pereira out. And I can see him kind of keeping safe. But it's like, okay, he got knocked out with a spinning back fist from Shara Bullet. This guy throws spinning elbows. Like, that's how you fight a technical point fighter like that. You don't play by their rules, right? You break up their pattern a little bit. So that's where I see the potential advantage on the Pereira side.
But you know what? I think he's going to see he's going to be more keen on the spinning techniques or whatever because he just got knocked out by it. And I don't even know if I'm going to go with by decision because it's only at -155. That's not too bad. And I could see a world where Pereira, whatever, he's off the cycle or whatever the theory is, but just looks like dog shit, gets really tired, and it's more of a exhaustion knockout, if you will. So I'm not going to get too greedy with it. That's going to be my theme for March. Don't get too greedy. -155 is good enough for me.
All right. We have out of Japan, Ray Tsura versus Joshua Van. What do you guys think about this one?
You know me. I'm always keen on getting in the van. And at first I was
what going on, AB?
I'm no stranger to getting in the van. Josh can sit there with his candy all day. I'll hop right in. And I've only been wrong about him, once against Charles Johnson. Granted, I didn't think he necessarily won that Cody Durden fight, but the damage-based scorecard, Cody Durden does get hit a lot. I thought Cody Durden kind of pulled that one out. I'm getting in the van yet again, ladies and gentlemen. And I think I know someone who might be in the van with me. He usually is, and I hope he is.
Yeah, I'm just trying to pull up his last fight here. Is he coming off of a loss? No, he's coming off of 2 straight wins. So, man, this guy is so active. I mean, how many times does Josh Van fight in a year? I thought the last fight was the Charles Johnson fight with the knockout, but alas, coming off of 2 straight wins. I really don't remember the Cody Durden one, to be honest, but Joshua Van is awesome. I mean, he's probably like 18 years old at this point, super young, growing leaps and bounds every fight. Ray Tsuruya, I think my Japanese is a little bit more polished than Luke's theirs. I think he's a little bit too one-dimensional. I think Van is going to get the job done via knockout. So we can choose up that line.
That's good Japanese right there.
Oh, shit.
Ray Tsuruya.
The
You gotta
yen
vote
is down. The yen is down. I'm in the van. I'm in the van with you guys. I love it. Joshua Van, more battle tested, better strength of schedule. He's going to hand Surya his first loss. And I think anything south of -200 is fair. Van's looked really good lately. Got caught with that uppercut by Johnson, was winning that fight. I'm going with Joshua Van. I'm getting in the van with you guys.
Hell yeah.
Triple B certified Josh Van.
Road trip.
Making quick work of this card. I think we're all pretty confident. We know what we're looking at. I've been looking at this card for a while. Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kunaev. I'll start. I'm going with Kunaev. I'm just taking a shot on the dog here. I think Blades, Khabib says he can't have 2 Super Bowls. I think his best days are behind him. He beat Dawkins, right? Okay. Easy to do. He got knocked out by Pavlovich. He beat Charlton Almeida. Impressive comeback. And then he got knocked out by Tom Aspinall. Not long enough of a break in heavyweight for getting knocked out. 34 years old. I know not too old for heavyweight, but I think he's a little bit too war-torn. Blades has been knocked out a lot of times. I think Kunaev is hungry to make a splash in the UFC. I believe he beat Renan Pereira, who I have a lot of, I did until he lost to fucking Ngannou. Like that, but it was overturned to a no contest because Kunaev tested positive for steroids, and the original result he beat by decision Renan Pereira. So I mean, Renan Pereira, great wrestler. Renan Pereira, big ass motherfucker.
He ain't no great wrestler.
He's a pretty good wrestler.
Francis Ngannou took him down and beat the crap out of him. What are you talking about? Francis Ngannou double-legged him and beat the shit out of him from top, and that's how he won that fight, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you're not mistaken, but he's a good wrestler, man.
Okay.
People forget, man. People forget. And he entered that fight as a favorite against Pereira. He won. He's coming in here as a giant underdog to Curtis Blades. I'm going with Rizvan Kunaev. I mean, like, how does Blades win this fight?
I think he wins it.
Taking his ass down and go ahead.
I think he beats the shit out of him. I think he takes him down, overpowers him, beats him up. I mean, look at the body size of these two guys. This Rizvan, he's no Josh Vaughn, okay? I don't necessarily love that. He's a bit of a Rizzler. He's doing too much rizzing to be a Van. Going with Curtis Blades here. He's going to take him down. He might not even have to, but he might just knock him out on the feet. I think Curtis Blades is way too much of a step up in competition. What do you think Curtis Blades does to Renan Pereira if Francis Ngannou took him down and beat the piss out of him? What do you think happens then, Luke, when he gets in there with Curtis Blades?
I'll tell you what, he definitely looked a lot. Rizvan definitely looked a lot better when he was on the stuff. I'm watching highlights of him right now, and there's 2 Rizvans, right? Like, there's the Rizvan who looks great, and there's the tubby, fat Rizvan, right? But he's looking good. I'm watching these fights. He's looking good as a fat guy too. And where does Curtis Blades not succeed? When he clenches up and guys hit him over the top in the temple with those elbows, when they dirty box him. This guy Rizvan's good in the clench. On his Contender Series fight, he dispatched of his opponent with a fucking knee to the body, followed up. Good dirty boxing.
Luke, what does Curtis Blades walk out to?
I don't know.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I just don't think we're looking at the same Curtis Blades anymore, guys. I think we're seeing the fall off. The fall off is real. The fall off is here. I think Curtis is going to go in for one of those takedowns. He's going to eat a knee. He's going to eat follow-up shots. This guy hits hard as shit. He throws heavy and big. He rushes in. He comes forward. I don't know.
He's only got 5 losses. 2 to
Rizvan
Francis
can wrestle,
Ngannou.
man. Rizvan can wrestle.
He not American style. And I know that the guru has his new narrative that he's trying to put out there that American wrestling is bogus and it doesn't work. But this is some good old America versus Russia wrestling right here. And Curtis Blades is going to win this. Luke, he's only lost to the hardest hitting guys ever. Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis, Sergey Pavlovich, Tom Aspinall. That's the cream of the crop. That's the creme de la creme, Luke. That's the peach's delight of the UFC heavyweight division.
I mean, Kunaev hits just as fucking hard, dude.
Okay.
I'm going to use Luke's words against him. He said, you don't go to the Super Bowl twice. I believe the Philadelphia Eagles disproved of that notion not too long ago. Losing it, coming back, and not only coming back, but winning it. If I could do the football analogy one more time. Look, Curtis Blades, I think is going to go down when it's all said and done as the greatest heavyweight of all time to have never won the title. Much like a Dan Marino, okay? Hall of Famer, had the record for most touchdown passes, one of the best. This is a guy who has never lost back-to-back fights in a long, long career, okay? That's really hard to do at the heavyweight division. And oh, by the way, he's coming off of loss, so he's allergic to creme. Hey, many of us are. Not me, but
so is Curtis Blades.
So is Curtis Blades. He's got a lot of issues, huh? But it's not going to be this Russian cat on Saturday night because he's going to mow him down. Again, coming off that loss, never lost back-to-back. And I think that's a point of pride probably for our young Curtis here. He's going to get the job done. He's going to avenge all those who, have belief in American wrestling. And he's going to stick it to people like the Guru who disparage it. So let's go Curtis Blades.
All right. I'm on an island by myself. Sorry, guys. You're going to wish that you listen to me. Marcio Rufy, one shot. Marcio Rufy is going to be 10 years younger than Bobby King Green. Bobby King Green, his only wins, really, besides the Grant Dawson, really quick knockout, was Jim Miller and Tony Ferguson. So, again, isn't fighting and winning against the cream of the crop necessarily right now. Got destroyed by Jalen Turner. Got choked out by Patty the Batty Pimblitch. And now he's got a guy again in that vein, in the vein of guys like Patty, like fucking Jalen, but I think way better. I think the minus 590 is absolutely justified. I don't see him losing this fight. Marcio Rufy used to be a bodyguard for Brazilian billionaire, and the billionaires would get together and make their bodyguards fight each other in underground matches. Guy's got a cool story. He's with the Fighting Nerds. I think that he's just on a nonstop upward trajectory. Don't step in front of this hype train. Don't think that this is a cute little Bobby Green spot here. It's not. Everything Bobby can do, Hoofy can do faster, better, and more powerfully. Give me Marcio Hoofy. Big fan of Bobby Green, but he's getting knocked out here.
Man, I hope we're all on the same page here. Got to go with Hoofy. He has been living up to the hype and then some. You see some of these knockouts where he's just fucking leaning back and just, at the perfect time, just hitting them with counters. I think he is doing what Bobby Green does, but does it to the nth degree, even better, with power, faster, longer, just like everything you could possibly want out of a striker. He might run into some trouble in the future with some good old-fashioned American wrestling, but I don't think Bobby Green is the guy to do it, especially at this point in his career. The older guys, they don't typically like to wrestle, and even put that mute button on. Don't you dare cough in the middle of my breakdown. I think people are going to be scared to want to go and shoot in a takedown on Hoofy just based on his physical prowess. So give me Hoofy here. Minus 590. You just got to pay the troll toll. Got to do it.
And Justin, the chin is covered by a beard. If you shave that beard off, Blade's got no chin.
Fair enough. And it wouldn't be cool if a guy with a stutter and then a guy with a lisp both had to get on the mic after. And that's not what's going to happen in this fight. Bobby King Green is going to get knocked out. And never mind. I won't say that. That's rude. That's obnoxious. That was a episode 0 through 100 type joke that we could make. Can't make those jokes anymore. We're on to bigger and better things.
We're live.
Give me Marcio Rufy. There is no, we can't go back and edit it out because as soon as I heard myself saying it, I was like, ooh, that's not going to sound good. That's growth, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going with Marcio Rufy.
You mean that's were you making fun of Bobby Green there, saying that's growth when you were saying that's gross?
Oh, man.
All right, next we got Yasmin Lucindo versus Amanda Lemos. I'm not going to talk too much about this. I don't bet on 37-year-old ladies. I don't bet on ladies 14 years old older than their opponents. But these ladies are so silly goose. They go in there and lose all the time in these kind of stacked matches that they should definitely win. So while the pick is Yasmin Lucindo, I do have her on some parlays. The value on the line -130 is really good, but it's her fight to fucking lose here. Amanda Lemos got her head split bad in that fight. I'm thinking of
Irene Aldana.
I'm thinking of Irene Aldana. I always mix her and Amanda Lemos up for some reason. But no, I think Amanda Lemos stinks, and I'm going with Yasmin Lucindo here. How's she gonna win? Split decision, something like that. Maybe by submission, but either way, it's Yasmin Lucindo for me. Her only loss in the last 2.5 years is Yasmin Yargwai. She's good, even though she's lost a couple recently. I'm going with Lucindo all day.
When life gives you Lemos, you don't Lucindo to Luco. I'm going with Amanda Lemos. I think she's going to go out there, win this fight. Luke said it himself. When women hit a certain age, they stop producing estrogen. They start producing testosterone. Amanda Lemos is in that bracket. She's big. She's strong. She is the man, if you ask me. And the woman, that is. And I think she is going to win this fight by decision.
It's always these chicks with the neck tattoos too who come in there looking all scary, but they end up just going looking at their quarter like, what's happening? You know what I mean? Good hammers, bad nails. So I'm not loving it by any means, but I do want to fade the 37-year-old when she's got a 14 years younger opponent. You know, it's just rule of thumb for a guy like me.
Hey, it's been a while since I had a dog shot on this card. Why not shoot right now? I'm going to go with Amanda Lemos. I think this is kind of similar to the Petrosian Pereira fight. We got a short little, tank that likes to move forward. And then we got the long, rangy striker that can jab, that can move. I know that she's coming up on the end of her career here due to her age, but I think she's still got a little bit left of the tank. At least for this fight right here, to stave off one more contender, be the consummate gatekeeper that she's been for her entire career. The jab is super sweet, hits with power. I think, Lucindo is coming off the win, a split decision win against Marina Rodriguez. I think Lemos is Marina Rodriguez, but with some more power. And I think that's going to put her over the top for a unanimous decision win. So dog number 2.
Horns down.
Next, we got a closely lined fight, which I think is just endemic of the opinions that a lot of people have on this fight. I think you're going to get a lot of takes one way or the other. We got Jalen the Tarantula Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Ignacio certainly impressed me in his last fight at the Sphere. He got that knockout over Manuel Torres. I like Manuel Torres. I think he's a really good fighter. Definitely impressed me. He wasn't in that fight for a moment. Iggy dominated him and finished him. I just think that ever since Jalen Turner found God, ever since he had that encounter with Bobby Green where he stomped him out, he is just not comfortable doing what needs to be done to win. That's why he didn't finish Moicano when he could have. I think he's not going to be able to turn it around ever and is kind of damaged goods for the rest of his career. Jalen Turner, I love him. I would pick him against almost anybody, but in this fight, I'm taking Iggy Bahamondes. Closely lined fight, but give me the younger guy. Give me the guy who's training with the champ, Alal Muhammad. Give me the guy who is also South American. I think he can eat some of these shots. Jalen Turner, I don't see Iggy Bahamondes waning at all. I think he's going to keep coming forward. I think he breaks Turner, if not, just knocks him out outright. I think he breaks him over the 3. So give me Iggy Bahamondes.
Girls with neck
We're
tattoos
already
think
here.
they can take their jail man boyfriend punches so that I can fight women MMA.
True
Run
enough.
it both ways, B. That's fair.
I'm gonna go with Jalen Turner. I think that Jalen Turner can do all things. I think that he's an amazing fighter, and maybe that year off, he was getting his killer instinct back. He probably got in there with a sports psychologist. He's still only 27. He's still young. He can still make a turnaround here. Turner. Give me Jalen Turner all the way. I think he wins this one. Iggy Bahamundez hasn't fought a fighter as well-rounded and as good as Jalen Turner. People forget, man. He was whooping up on Dan Hooker when he lost that fight. He was whooping up on Mateus Gamrot. Lost a split decision. No shame in that.
That's the thing, though, man. He can't win. He loses to Moicano. He loses to Turner or to Hooker. Hooker had a broken fucking arm in that fight.
By hook or by crook. Okay, enough. Jalen Turner.
That is pretty damning. I'm going to side with Lukey here. I've been a big fan of Bahamondes for a while now, and I completely agree as well with how it's going to go down. I think Jalen Turner is going to have a solid round one. I don't know if he's going to win it, but it's going to be close. But Bahamondes is just going to go forward, put on the gas for rounds 2 and 3, and eventually break Jalen Turner. Just so many tools in the toolbox, always keeping them sharp, always putting them to use, spinning elbows, kicks, got a hell of a chin. At this point, he's racking up some pretty good experience getting in there with the likes of Manuel Torres and Ludwig Klein. Actually, he doesn't have the best resume of all time as far as competition, but it's got that nice slow burn. He's steadily progressing. And I think that there is something to this theory, maybe a conspiracy theory that Jalen, however you pronounce it, Turner, is losing it a little bit. I think the fire is dimming out. May I be wrong? Quite possibly. But I don't know. I just think that his time is kind of came and went, even for a 27-year-old. I love Bahamondes here, and I think he's going to get it done.
Well, it's Ramadan, Justin. So it's God is on vacation. It's Muhammad who is rolling until Lent. Until Lent gets here, then we're gonna, we got Easter Sunday. But speaking of, I'm on a 5-day fast right now. I have not eaten any food since Wednesday of last week, and I gotta think, right? Like,
Alhamdulillah, brother. Alhamdulillah.
So I'm fasting for Ramadan up until Ash Wednesday, and then I'm giving up refined sugar for Lent. So I got God and Muhammad on my side. That's like having, the Avengers, right? Like I got like the Avengers at my back. Like I got both. All religions are like, Lukey's doing good here. So stopped eating on Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. Now we're well into day 5, and I'm not going to eat again until Ash Wednesday. And are we not supposed to have meat on Ash Wednesday, Alex?
You're not supposed to have meat on Fridays during Lent.
Right. But let me see. Can you have meat on Ash Wednesday?
Whatever. Let's get back to the point here.
No, Catholics are abstain from eating meat on Ash Wednesday. Damn it. I was going to break my fast with a nice steak on Ash Wednesday. I think I'm still going to do it. Okay, it says Ash Wednesday is a day of fasting and repentance. I did my fasting on the front end. I'm not.
Whatever. If you want to listen to these guys and take fucking Iggy Bahamondes just because he's got sharp tools, then obviously you've never worked on your trug
I'm
once.
Catholic, Sarah Jane. I'm Catholic. I am Catholic. So I should. But if I fast for 7 days up and through Ash Wednesday and eat at night on Ash Wednesday, I think me and God are good. I think he's like, yeah, Luke, you deserve this. Like, do your thing. Or maybe I wait till Thursday. Maybe I go 8 days. I break my previous record. My record is 7 days fasted, water only. And by the way, I'm down. The reason I started this fast, I weighed myself. So like, a little personal background on me. I'm a Joe Rogan 5'8". right? I'm a Joe Rogan 5'8", which means I'm 5'6". And I in high school I wrestled at 135. In college, I was all throughout college 145. New York City, I'm now a grown full man, in my late mid-20s. 155 was the heaviest I ever got after Christmas, after cookies and Santa Claus and all that. I had my daughter in the last 3 years.
And he got fat as hell.
I went from 155. I weighed myself in last Wednesday. It was 190 point something.
Yo.
I was 190, dog. So
don't talk so much about yourself.
So I was like, it ends now. I'm going on a hunger strike until that number on the scale looks like a number I can stomach. And since Wednesday of last week, I weighed myself earlier today. I was 178 flat. And really, I was like 193.6, but I had just eaten a full meal, right? So I was like, all right, I'm really not 193. I'm more like 190. But we'll call it at 190 either way. It's over 190. Now I'm under 180. I got 2 more days. I'm gonna do a nice run. I'm gonna do some work. By the way, I feel amazing right now. The fast. It sucks that when you're approaching the end of your fast, you don't even care anymore. You're like, first 2 days were a nightmare. Keto, flu, headache, wanting to eat, pissed off. But now I'm like, I don't even give a fuck if I ever eat again. I feel great. I'm in full autophagy, full ketosis, and I'm gonna break my fast on Wednesday with a ketogenic meal. But I didn't know I wasn't supposed to eat meat, so I'm kind of annoyed. I thought I was gonna give myself some karma points. Either way, I break my fast on Wednesday, and I'm gonna stay in ketosis, no refined sugar, work out all throughout Lent, and by the summertime, I'm Beachbody Lukey again. I'm getting back down to 160, 155. Gonna get shredded. Gonna get my abs back. Gonna be looking so good. People are gonna be like, "Who's that dilf that I just saw? Who's that dilf?" And then we're gonna keep it going. We're not getting back up to 190 ever again. Not until I'm like a 55-year-old meatball smoking a cigar with my fucking big ass belly out. Then I'll let it go again. But we gotta maintain health. We gotta be locked in. And it's no secret that when I gave up drinking for dry January, I had tons of winning in gambling. When I went back to drinking, I started losing. And I'm like Charles Barkley. It's like, I love drinking and I love gambling. And there's nothing more fun than doing both at the same time. I'm in complete agreement with Charles Barkley on that. So drinking's good when you gamble because it releases your inhibitions. You're more willing to pull that trigger. You're more willing to go, But it also releases your inhibitions. You're more likely to fucking make a dumbass move and continue to lose when you're not clearly cut out for winning that night. So I am so sure that when you do right by the Lord, when you fast, when you are in ketosis, you're firing sharp, you got good karma. Every day that I've been alive since Wednesday, nothing has had to die for me to live. I'm in one harmony with nature. Everything is untouched, unsullied. So we're going to keep going until Wednesday. And then we're going to be good boys. We're going to be a good boy again. We're going to be a good boy. No drinking. I don't drink. I don't drug. I don't lie. I don't cheat. I don't steal. Mike the situation. Mike the inspiration. Okay, one day people need to come to Fresco, California, get some fried chow mein, fried pork rice, and some Mexican food. Justin, I'm all about that. I would love that. You're in Fresno, California. I will hit you up when I'm there. Take me to the food trucks. Take me to get that Mexican food. I've been to California, but only on a layover. I've never really. I stopped at my uncle-in-law's house in San Francisco, so I didn't really leave his house. But yeah, I want to get some Asian food. I want to get some sushi. I want to get some Mexican food. I'm very food minded right now, guys. I'm thinking about food all the time. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been a lightweight. Really, I've been a flyweight my whole life because I would cut. If in an ideal world, I would cut to flyweight, and I was always within cutting distance to get to bantamweight, flyweight. Now I'm 190. I'm like a welterweight, you know what I mean, at best. And so I gotta get down to striking distance of the featherweight division. And then This guy says, this is your weekly reminder. Anthony Smith, Paul Felder are unfaithful men. I thought they were sick of traveling. Brother, thank you so much. I agree with you 100%. It's like, oh, you guys hate traveling. Anthony, you leave Nebraska and go to fucking Colorado or whatever to train. You do all these days on the road. Like, and Biz things already told you. It's like, dude, you're providing for your family. It's what you do. And Felder, oh, I got a daughter. I can't be doing this. Now you do fucking 25 dates a fucking year. And every one they send you to is in Perth, Australia or Abu Dhabi because you're a B League, C League fucking commentator.
And when you're home, all you do is ride your damn Peloton. All I hear about is how Paul Felder rides his bike all the time.
By the way, you ride a Peloton and then you get on a real bike, like Nick and Nate Diaz. You get on a real bike, it doesn't translate. So that's how you know Peloton is a joke because it does not translate to the real fucking. And guess what, guys? We have the best thing ever. The guy who knocked out Ozzy Diaz, Ming Ying Zhang, is Anthony Smith's next opponent. He is going to put that big ass brick head right in Anthony's fucking chin, and he's gonna dig uppercuts and elbows. He's gonna leave Anthony Smith sleeping on the counts.
Fresno State Bulldogs.
Don't forget about Derek Carr, Fresno State.
Derek Carr, very true, very true.
Yeah.
He was a Bulldog.
When you say Fresno, I think Frisco. I think white. I think queso. I think cheese. Like that's where I'm.
A lot of farms out there.
Like, oh.
Same my boy Victor Davis Hansen out there, the GOAT.
It's like, oh, that's your takeaway?
Where were we?
We're on Justin Gaethje versus
Did we all
Rafael
pick the last
Fiziev.
fight, though? Did we all pick?
We all picked. I picked Jalen Turner. You guys picked Gamando Bahamindo.
Boy.
All right. Co-main event time, baby. Justin Gaethje versus Rafael Fiziev. 25-5. Justin
Rafael Fiziev?
Rafael Fiziev? Shout out to Cody Saftik. I have a lot of things to say about this fight.
You already spoiled your take on it, so you might as well get into it. You had to show your open bet sheet with your bets that were yet to happen. You should have blacked those
I'm
ones
all
out.
in on Fiziev. I mean, I was all in on Hooker. I thought Hooker was an underdog, and I was like, Hooker's gonna put chin to dome and crack Justin Gaethje and leave him sleeping on the canvas. And now I think Fiziev is going to piece up Justin Gaethje. I mean, that first fight was so close, right? And now you have Fiziev recovered, reimagined, reharnessing all of his mana, coming into the fight with nothing to lose, short notice, just coming in all piss and vinegar, getting that one back. In a fight so close the first time, you got to go with people thought Fiziev won. A lot of people thought he won. I really didn't think he won, but I think that he will win this one. I think he's rejuvenated, refreshed, and I think Gaethje is spoiled. I think he is damaged goods. I think he gets knocked out again. I think he gets knocked. Little boy Max, little skinny string bean Max Holloway couldn't knock out a fucking.
Jose Aldo. Oh, he did. Fuck.
That was ground and pound.
Still a knockout.
Yeah, nah, it's Fiziev all day. I think he just is more man. Gaethje's been just golfing, dabbing, slurring.
Whoa. No, that's a lot of other fighters in the UFC. Not Gaethje.
No, I mean he's I think Gaethje's done. End of the rope, end of the road. This fight will be exciting until it's over. Fiziev by knockout.
Not me. Seen this movie before. Think it'll have the same exact ending. I think that Justin Gaethje won the fight. I was surprised it was a majority decision. I was surprised that all the judges weren't on my side in that one. But enough were there to get it done. I thought it was a clear-cut victory for Justin Gaethje. I think he's going to get in there. He's going to win. He's even more prepared this time. He was kind of fighting somebody who many would say Dan Hooker is better than Rafael Fiziev. I don't necessarily think that, but Rafael Fiziev is coming in on like a week's notice, a week and a half's notice. I'm going with Gaethje. I think he's going to get it done.
Nope, you're wrong. Rafael Fiziev going to get this thing done. Justin Gaethje, he wants to be hanging out in Colorado or Arizona golfing. His mind is on golf. All right, so he's already into retirement mode. Rafael Fiziev, he can't come home until he gets the strap. He can't come home until he gets the title. And Justin Gaethje is going to be a stepping stone on that journey, and I think he's going to get it done Saturday night. Fiziev by knockout, embarrassingly.
You got Rafael Fiziev coming off of 2 losses and one being a devastating leg injury, guys. What happens when guys come back with devastating leg injuries? They get leg kicked to all hell. And fighting against Justin Gaethje, you have
I'm switching my pick. I'm going with Justin Gaethje. Dog number 3, the power of 3 dogs. 3 dogs is the lucky number. It's not even lucky. It's just what it is. That's not luck. That's reality. And those are the 3 dogs. Amanda Lemos, Frankie Marshall, Justin Gaethje. You heard it here first. The perfect parlay.
People forget, man. People forget.
Well, listen, hey, getting leg kicks are one of Justin Gaethje's strengths.
And he does wear a steel Muay Thai cup.
Yes.
I believe. That's what I've heard.
Look, leg kicks are one of his strengths, but Fiziev took the requisite time off after that leg injury, over a year. Gaethje fought 10 months ago after getting absolutely slept. Knocked out by Max, knocked out again by the canvas when he hit his head. Woke up not knowing where the hell he was.
He was seizing. They just put out an alternate angle of it, and he was like seizing up Bryce Mitchell style.
I want to see it.
Look into it, babe.
Death before dishonor. You know what I mean? Death before dishonor. And people forget, man, that Justin tapped to Khabib. Khabib still choked him out and then rubbed his Dagestani nuts across his face in front of his mom and dad. So people forget. And that was for a title. Tapping out in a title fight. Holly Holm didn't do that shit against Miesha Tate. So Holly Holm, more of a man than Justin, would never dishonor her family. Okay. Now we got the main event. The champ is here. The champ is here. Alex Poatan Pereira. Who better to take it off than Alex, who has won a lot of money on Poatan throughout his career. Alex, whose name is also Alex. And it's about all these men have in common, these 2 boys, Alex and Alex. Alex, go ahead. Take us away.
No, we were both once alcoholics. Maybe one of us still is. So I still got that in common with him. I'm going with Poatan. And listen, and here's why. I had to go to the Thig Boy Network to get a little homework done here. I had to learn a little bit more because something about that shop, he's always on to something.
He's a guiding light. He's definitely a guiding light in a lot of.
He's my North Star. That's what I would say. He is a great MMA mind, and he said it best. Ankalaev fancies himself a fisticuffs. He's going to go out there and strike. You've never seen Ankalaev go for a takedown ever. So just because he has a sideways American or a sideways French flag, you think he's going to come out here and start doing takedowns now? No way, B. I am going with Alex Poatan Pereira. Sure, it's not going to be my biggest Poatan bet I've ever placed because you guys know that was 1G on Alex Pereira. Until I get a better matchup where he's, where he's not a 500 favorite or he doesn't have so much risk to lose. Like, I still think Magomed Ankalaev is a dangerous guy. He's got a big Russian head. Russians don't get knocked out for whatever reason 99% of the time. They just got huge, huge heads, rocks in their heads, just dumb as all hell, and are strong-willed. I don't really think he's going to get knocked out, but I think Poatan's going to win. And I think Poatan can win by decision, contrary to many people's beliefs. I think that Poatan gets it done. Hell, he could knock him out. I think he could knock him out. I think he can get it done any way he wants. He could submit him if he wanted to. He club and sub, finish him off. I might take a parlay with Poatan by submission because club and sub is on the table. He said he has something special for him. He pulled out the Khalil Roundtree. I've been working on some secret moves. I think Poatan gets it done by hook or by crook.
Alex Pereira has been smelling himself a little too much lately. He almost lost to Khalil Roundtree, which is a bottom feeder of the worst division in all of combat sports. Magomed Ankalaev is going to get the job done. It's going to be boring. Nobody's going to like what they're watching. But, the guy's out there. He's, he's flirting with that lady, whatever her name is. She's on Instagram, whatever her deal is. He's out there traveling the world, sticking zins in his mouth, drinking, not taking this fight seriously. He's smelling his shit a little bit. And you know what? Up until this point, he really did deserve it. He's saved the sport, or the organization at the very least. Some duds of cards, topped off with the main event getting dropped out. So thank you, Alex. You've done the UFC a great service. Myself as a fan, super appreciative. But this coming fight, this is where the rubber meets the road. This is where Ankalaev gets the job done. Even looking at the line, I mean, Pereira, he's the biggest star in the sport, and he's a pick'em. He's minus 115 to minus 105. Magomed Ankalaev, who nobody likes, including the UFC brass, and the line is that close. This is a line read. This is a psychological read. This is where you got to put your fandom to the side. Maybe just not even bet it. Just watch it. Just watch it, okay? We're going to go with Ankalaev here. I'm sorry, folks. I know I'm going to get shredded in the comments, but shred me up and down all you want. I'm a man. I'm 40. I can take it. Magomed Ankalaev.
Justin asking, what's the line for the knockouts? I don't know. He's asking,
not posted yet.
Under 2.5. Hard not to bet him. He's been on the West UFC begging to know a moneymaker, same as Triscus. I agree with a lot. So here's the thing. Poetan.
Hold on one sec. If this goes to a decision, as Villegas just said down there, if this goes to a decision, who is the UFC going to pick? The guy who whined and cried about the draw with Jan Blachowicz when he was on his home, or was that in Salt Lake City? That fight. But anywho, do you think that the UFC is going to give him the win in a decision ever after all of the whining, crying, bitching that he's done and all the, I'm going to leave the UFC because I got a draw when Jan Blachowicz actually beat me up? Get the fuck out of here. Poetan is the truth. He's got the aura. The judges will go for him regardless.
The judges are opposed to the UFC brass. Okay, the Dana and the judges, they butt heads all the time. It's not aligned that way. If anything, I would go the opposite.
Is it my turn now?
No, you cannot have the nitrous today.
Can I have the nitrous today?
You may.
Look, the UFC in an octagon, a druidic circle, held on Saturday, the Sabbath, or Saturn Day. Saturn, the god who ate his own child. UFC, a sacrificial arena, druidic, ritualistic circle for human sacrifice, sacrificing our young for our entertainment, for money, for the ownership of the UFC, their greedy pockets, their the men not bleeding get the money, the men who bleed don't get the money. It is a satanic thing. So we are in a holy time of year. We are in Ramadan. We are approaching Lent. I believe that when the UFC attempts to do their events in line with non-pagan holidays, not holidays that are, not based or holidays that are pure, that are for the God, one God, a one true God, whether you believe in Muhammad, whether you believe in God, Jesus, either way, these are pure fundamentalist holidays. And when the UFC tries to do their little dog and pony show during this time, Dana White always gets bit in the ass. Okay. You got to think back to Merab beating Sugar Sean at the Sphere. You got to think to Bilal beating Leon Edwards in London. You got to think Diaz overcoming the Chimaev conundrum and beating Tony Ferguson. You think about all of these best laid plans that have gone awry, right? Diaz versus McGregor won. So the the fight gods are just that. They are the gods. They are the normal gods, right? What would the normal gods see happen in this situation? How could this epic mega card disappoint? How could it disappoint, right? That's what I ask, because it will. It will disappoint. I bet you dollars to donuts that people come away from this card like, man, UFC Seattle was better. There was all those knockouts. This fight card will leave something to be desired. I bet. And the expectation's high, and the reality will not meet that expectation. So what will happen? I think in the Fiziev Gaethje fight, either Fiziev will win, or Justin Gaethje will tear his hamstring, get poked in the eye, be unable to continue in some way, shape, or form, rendering the outcome dissatisfying. And the only thing people will have to look forward to hope on is Pereira versus Ankalaev. Ankalaev is going to come in there, and he is going to completely, I believe two things are going to happen. I think, who are the two fighters on this card that all the fans are like, oh, I love this. All those little wet behind the ears, new fans, the fucking, the carryovers from the Nelk boys, the carryovers from Steve Will Do It, the carryovers from Aiden Ross. All of these noobs just want to see Gaethje win, and they just want to see Poatan win, because that's what they've been trained to say, right? Like little sheep. And Ankalaev's going to eat the sheep. Fiziev's going to eat the sheep. It's Fiziev and it's Ankalaev. They are going to win because it's the least satisfying outcome. It's the most disappointing outcome. It's the outcome that fans will hate. They will be crying. They'll say, I'm not crying, you're crying. Oh, Justin Gaethje, protect this man at all costs. Yeah, they're going to get smashed. And then Volk's going to get smashed. It's Fiziev and it's Lopes. It's the young eating the old. It's where nature and everything should be. Pereira is 38 years old. He fucking lost to Jan Blachowicz. He got knocked out by Israel Adesanya. He didn't look that great against Khalil Roundtree. You think just because, oh yeah, he had health issues, he had a rib injury, he had this, he had that, going into the Roundtree fight. Okay, what's going to change? He's 38 years old. He's an old-ass man. And what does God want to see more? A nice Muslim boy who's fasting during Ramadan and still training win, or a guy who's quite literally in a jungle doing shamanic rituals? Okay? What did you learn in Vacation Bible School? Okay? Thou shalt not worship false gods. I am the one God. There are no other gods before me, right? That's what they taught you. So I believe Poatan is in for a rude awakening. I believe he's too negative in the press. First, we had that issue with him getting drunk with that girl, and God knows what happened. Then we have him at the Drake. Then we have him at the Drake concert. So you're telling me you're Team Drake, Poatan. After the Super Bowl, you're Team Drake. Okay. Well, maybe Pereira is not like us.
And if you didn't like the Super Bowl, you are racist. That's what I heard
maybe
online.
Pereira is not like us, and maybe Pereira is getting a little too close to the sun. He's like, oh, let's do a $200,000 donation. Interesting. Is that the maximum taxable write-off for the year that you're going to have to do anyway to save yourself some money on the massive tax bill you're going to have on this massive fight that you cash in on this weekend? It's like, you don't have me fooled, Pereira. You're donating that money regardless, right? So you can write it off on your taxes. So I love Alex Pereira. I like seeing him win here and there, but I'm a big Yuri fan. Okay, no magic. No magic. Let's go for that. I'm a Yuri guy. I'm a Fiziev guy. I'm a Norse believer. You know what I mean? I like the Norse fighters. So this guy says, begging Beaver begs, Lukey, no more God talk fights. We are talking fights. The best fights of all time are in the Bible, the Quran, the Bhagavad Gita. Okay, these are the best fights of all time. The Iliad, the Odyssey, all of these things. This is where you get this is how you have to go backwards to go forward. You have to revisit the timeless classics to understand what's happening here. History repeats. And on Saturday night, Fiziev will win, Ankalaev will win, and I will win because I have fasted. I have paid the proper respects, and I always win when there's a big event. And Saturday happens to be my daughter's 3rd birthday party. I will win in emphatic fashion, like I did on her christening, like I did on her 1st birthday, like I always do when there's an event tied to the UFC card outside of the UFC card. When I have an event I capitalize. Your wedding, Dan. Who else is wedding? A recent one. I won big. I forget. But either way, my own wedding, I didn't actually win that much.
Clint's.
Who's Goliath? So, bottom line, Pereira too old, Pereira too stiff, too one-dimensional.
You gotta look into the old. You gotta look into the Bible's fights.
but
They're
like,
great
who's
fights in the
Goliath?
Bible.
Who's Goliath in this situation? Is what I meant. Like, who's the Goliath? Yeah, you know what I mean? So I'm
Heard
going with
both ways,
Ankalaev,
dude.
in short.
In short.
All right. Well, that concludes the picks. I'm gonna run through mine. I got them up right now. I had a lot of time to do that when Luke was on his I would say soapbox, but you were more so at an altar in that one. Give me Alex Pereira, Justin Gaethje, Jalen Turner, Amanda Lemos, Mauricio Huffy.
Wrong. Sorry.
Curtis Blades, Joshua Van, Bruno Fiera, Carlos Leal, Francis Marshall, Jordan Santos, and Chris Gutierrez. I think that's a perfect parlay. Don't call me crazy, but I think that parlay will be perfect.
Your underdogs are probably Gutierrez, and then you got Marshall, Pereira, Lemos, Gaethje. So 4 underdogs for you.
Pereira ain't no dog.
Gutierrez, Marshall, Pereira, Lemos,
Ferreira.
Gaethje. Five underdogs.
Okay.
A couple of them are pick'ems, though. I mean, Lemos is a pick'em. Ferreira's kind of a pick'em. So
Gaethje's a pick'em as well.
kind of, not really. It's more of a slight dog. The only real pick'em on this card is fucking Turner versus Bahamondes. You got to be on the right side of that one. That's the keystone of the card. If you can be on the right side of that one, catch a big dog and catch a couple favorites, you're gonna be in for a good night. You just gotta. That's the keystone area. You know. You put Van in there with. Santos. You put Marshall in there. You put one of the two, Turner or Bahamondes, Fazeev, and then you made your money. You know what I mean? All right. Dan, go ahead, man. Sorry.
It's all good. Let's go with Magomed Ankalaev, inshallah. Justin Gaethje. We got Ignacio Bahamondes, Amanda Lemos, Mauricio Hufi, Curtis Blades. Never lost 2 in a row, baby. Let's fucking go. Josh Van, Armand Petrosian, Carlos Leal, Frankie Marshall, Jordan Santos, and John Castaneda. Perfect parlay, folks. You heard it here.
Thank
Don't
you all
miss
for
out on
watching. We really appreciate it. My perfect parlay, which there's only 2 ones. When I went down my list, I go, that's correct. There were only 2 that I kind of was like, So I'll let you know which those are, and you just deal with the rest. Magomed Ankalaev, Rafael Fazeev, Ignacio Bahamondes, Yasmin Lucindo, Marcio Rufi, Rizvan Kunaev, Joshua Van, Bruno Ferreira, Carlos Leal, Frankie Marshall, Georgian Santos, and Chris Gutierrez. The 2 that I kind of like hesitated when I typed them, Gutierrez and Ferreira. And then I'll even throw Lucindo in there too. But those would be like my 3 out of 12 that I would say, like, if I'm going to be wrong, this is where I'm wrong. Those would be the ones I look back in anger on. Triple B certified picks, we got 5 of them for you. Leal and Hufi, kind of, big, huge favorites, relatively unbettable. But then we got Van, definitely bettable. Santos, certainly bettable. And Frankie the Fire Marshall, extreme value underdog, Triple B certified. Hufi, Van, Leal, Marshall, Santos, 5 Triple B certified picks. 5 Triple B certified picks. Last week, we got Brundage, we got Mario Pinto, we got Danny Silva, all correct for you. The only trophy certified pick we got wrong last week was William Gomez in a split decision fucking robbery. So 4 out of 5. Last week we got correct for you here on this show. Let's see if we can go 5 out of 5 this week. Bing, bang, boom, bop, bing, bam, bam. Love you guys. Carrie Jane, thank you. Justin, thank you. NWMMA, thank you. Everybody who's chatted in and joined us for this watch along. Sasankal, thank you.
Japanese characters.
Brown, thank you. JG, thank you. My Japanese friend, thank you. I'm just as confused as you, my brother, but I think we're going to make it happen. Steele. Yeah, I hear you, Cody Steele. Shit the bed.
You got to stop the steal.
And ugly odds. I mean, yeah, obviously, like those are Leo and Hoofy, but yeah, it's like very ugly odds. You can't really do much with those two. So we love you guys. Thank you for joining the show. Comment, like, subscribe, tell your friends. We had about 14 people strong all throughout this show. We need to double that. We need to get that to 28. So hit your friends up and let's get a nice barrel of monkeys in here for each live show. That's the show. Thank you all very much. We'll be in the Discord. Like I said, I have my daughter's 3rd birthday party on Saturday. I will be in the car on the way home, probably for the early prelims, but then I'll be back, butts in seats, and we'll be in there chatting with you in the Discord. So get in that Discord. Get into Patreon if you want to see my open bet sheet. I already have a lot of plays that I've already made from my winnings last weekend. So get in there, and we'll be very happy for you to patronize us. We need money. It's $100 for the year. If you've ever won $1 off any pick we've given you, just pay it forward, pay it back, give it to us, give us money, and we'll gamble it. I mean, if we get a nice little bankroll on that Patreon, we will gamble it, and we'll tell you where we're putting it on. So we tried it before, let's just say, and did not work out, but we love you guys. Thanks so much for joining the show.